All right, guys, spawning up here in the top right-hand corner from Team Acer. He's not actually Zerg. He's actually a Terran player on Team Acer. Unbelievable, I know. It is our blue Terran player, MMA. And spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner from Team Startail, he is our purple Protoss player. I love alliteration. I'm sorry. That's just one of those favorite things. Like, once I get a Protoss, purple Protoss. Anyway, he is Squirtle.
You could say the popular purple Protoss player. Positively popular.
Oh,
that is just too many words.
Way too many.
Can you even say that? Is that? I feel like that's not alliteration.
Popular Protoss purple player.
I don't think it's that hard. The positively popular purple Protoss player. It is Squirtle.
You might have a career in rap that I don't know about.
Hey, we were talking about this on the elevator. I was really into rap and rhyme and all that fun stuff back in middle school, man. I had a rap book. I had a legitimate rap book.
You had a rap book?
Yeah.
Really?
But like I didn't. I was like such a nerd, man. I didn't like dress or act like a rapper. I just enjoyed doing freestyle rapping. And all the kids in my school just like didn't get it at all. They'd all make fun of me, but hey man, so is the life of being a nerd. It's great. You just take pride in being awesome and being unique.
Exactly, and that's exactly why I love.
Which are synonyms, by the way.
Yes.
You like doing what all the time?
Nerd and being unique. Yeah. No.
Exactly.
Repping the nerd cred.
No, awesome and being unique.
Yes, awesome and unique. I don't know.
Not all nerds are awesome.
I don't know if awesome and unique are synonyms.
Hey man, I honestly, like, even if you're like unique because I don't know, you're like really into collecting like clay dolls or something, like I'm pulling for you. I really
read
am.
Star Wars books.
There you go. See, that makes you awesome.
Thank you. All right, guys. So anyway, Squirtle right now playing very standard. Did grab a gas, so we might be seeing a 1-1-1 coming out from him. He does have an orbital command center and a reactor on the way. I'm sorry, that was MMA, not Squirtle. Why did I say that? But Squirtle is grabbing Cybercore, playing pretty standard.
It's all good. We were just talking tongue twisters for 2 minutes,
just talking,
Kevin.
exactly.
Like
now I'm just thinking about how you had a rap book when you're in. Anyway,
I shouldn't have even brought it up. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Oh no!
Now I'm distracting you.
Now this is blackmail for later on in the night.
All right, so MMA is going to get out of here. Pretty, which I learned the other day. You can actually say scot-free or scotch-free.
Scotch-free.
I like scotch-free.
Scotch-free?
Yeah, he got out scotch-free. That's the old way of saying it, apparently.
Yeah, scot-free doesn't really make that much sense because I don't think that SUV's name is Scott.
Nope. All right, Kevin. So he's actually instantly. This is so cool. Look at this. He's just going to come over here and see this probe. I love patrolling, by the way. Like, why stand a unit still? First off, it makes it an idle unit, which is just like the only time you want this idle unit thing to appear is if there's actually a unit that is idle that shouldn't be. So I love patrolling for that reason, and I also love it for the reason that it gets you a little bit more vision. Unfortunately, it allows them to be scouted, but hey, whatever. MMA is going to run around and scout for little pylons here.
And that's a really nice little touch, of course, to professional players. You know, they always make sure that there's not some sort of little proxy pylon somewhere. Instead of just letting that SCV die eventually within the Protoss base, he's actually being incredibly useful with it and making sure that he's going to be quite defensive. And he's already not had that SCV for a while, so it's not really losing that much mining time.
So Squirtle actually saw this, Kevin. We've got, right now, MMA's moving out with quite a little force. He's got 1 Marauder, soon to be 2 Marauders, and a Marine as well. So he's going to have 6 Marines, 2 Marauders, with concussive shells here in a second. And he's expanding behind it, but, I mean, he needs to do a little bit of damage with this, and unfortunately for him, Squirtle went for very fast 3 gateways. So MMA's going to get nothing done here. In fact, looks like he's just going to go around and go home.
Oh, wow. Now that... Remember when I was saying that scouting SCV is being really useful by going to see the proxy pylon? He's also being incredibly useful because he's building a proxy command center.
He didn't lose too much mining time, and suddenly he's building a command center. It's like, all right.
Out of left field,
actually,
here comes a command center.
Yeah, right? So MMA now, folks, is really taking a gamble here. And if Squirtle is responsible with his scouting, I mean, MMA should lose this game by all accounts. This is a very, very risky maneuver.
Yes.
However, if this goes unnoticed, uncontested, there's some serious consequences.
And that's just one of those things you always have to realize is that as observers, we can see a very vulnerable situation right now for MMA, but Squirtle will not see that unless he actually does throw up a probe up there. And if he doesn't, then if MMA is able to turn that into an orbital command center and get at least 1 mule down, maybe a couple of SCVs up there as well, that's easily paid for itself with dividends. And he's going to be able to start pumping out a completely... unorthodox amount of Marines and Marauders and pretty much forces in general and catch Squirtle completely by surprise.
All right, well, here's what I'm wondering. So this is very important right now for Squirtle, Kevin. He's going to come in with this Observer, and, you mentioned catching Squirtle by surprise. And in that regard, I mean, he can catch him by surprise economically, of course, because he's going to be on 3 bases. But Squirtle's going to come in here, he's going to scout with this Observer, and he's not going to see a 3rd command center, right? Which is something, he's going to walk around, he's not going to see a 3rd, and he's also going to see, like, pretty late stuff going down here. For instance, like, okay, Starport, I mean, with a 2 racks opening, you're looking at like 9:15. Those medevacs should be popping out. They're going to be late. Squirtle's going to pop in here. It's going to be like, where is your money? Where is all your money gone? And it should prompt him to look around the map. It really should.
It's quite true. But the Orbital Command Center has finished up here. There is a mule already going down here in the top left-hand corner. So pretty much, that Command Center is already pretty good.
Let's take a look and see if MMA happens to spot this Observer. He's not. No, he's looking at his main base right now. You can see him building a supply depot off to the side, and it doesn't look like he has managed to scout it. Meanwhile, the Observer, if we take a look at the vision of our Protoss player, Squirtle has gotten in here, sees that the starport is complete, and he should be asking himself exactly that right now. MMA, where's your stuff?
Where is your stuff? And that's exactly, one of those things, is you were saying he's going to look in here, he's going to notice all these things, and that's, they normally have a tally of exactly what should be happening right now inside that base.
Yeah.
And the fact that tally doesn't really add up, Squirtle's going to be a little bit uncomfortable right now. Now, he does have a very small force. He's got 3 sentries, a couple of stalkers, trying to build up that Colossus tech. He hasn't started Thermal Lances just yet, but he does have Colossus on the way. And if MMA can really start pumping out a lot of Marauders and Marines, he can possibly just completely take map control at this point.
Yeah, and he already does have map control.
Yeah.
I mean, he's running around all over the place. You're right, he's going to be able to continue to assert that, of course, the more bio units he pushes out. But, it's kind of... Protoss versus Terran just has basically like a timetable. It's an hourglass that you keep flipping over. It's like, okay, we start the game, Terran has map control. Oh, there's a couple Stalkers out against Marines. Okay, back to Protoss. You flip that over for a little while. Then it's back to Terran once they get out a nice bio and some stim, and then back in Protoss's favor once the Colossi start hitting the field. So, but after that, it kind of becomes, well, now it's anybody's ball.
Yeah.
Well,
until we start to hit the really super late game when Terrans start pumping out a lot of Marauders, Ghosts, and Vikings. Then it really kind of is just pretty much, all right, Terran wins.
So
can't deal with those nukes.
The nukes are so good. All right. Well, I mean, I am waiting for a response here out of Squirtle, but it really doesn't seem like he picked up on this expansion. He's just
I don't think so
cruising
either.
around. He's gearing up for an attack, actually.
He's moving the Observer around. He's just, trying to get a little bit of an idea of what's going on, but he's not really scouting anywhere else on the map, not even with any straight units or anything.
Yep.
Not a probe, not really anything. He has one little pylon over there. The factory does see it. Oh, no, he doesn't.
Wow, just barely out of the vision.
Complete.
I'm actually like so surprised right now. Like Squirtle is just like hunkered down in his base, ready for a really large attack. He's got 3 sentries full of energy, so he can drop force fields if needed. He's prepared for drop play, and like this is not what's coming his way at all right now. I mean,
yeah,
it's
he's got the drop defense up and everything. He saw that there's nothing in there. He figured there has to be a huge army somewhere.
Yep.
But it's not. There's nothing.
Oh,
there's
my
just
goodness.
an expansion somewhere, and a 4th expansion at that.
Yep. All right, the Zealot is gonna find the expansion, and I'm waiting. I want to see Squirtle click on these mineral fields.
Yes, exactly, and just be like, oh man.
And all right, yep. Moving out, killing a Marine or 2. Zealot's gonna do a little bit of harass here, and let's take a look.
It's too late though.
Yeah, he's mined a pretty good amount off these. Not an incredibly large amount, but enough that he's got. MMA has a pretty good advantage right now, and he's going to be taking a 3rd base. He has 4 command centers, and Squirtle has read this all wrong.
And now Squirtle finally taking his 3rd base, very late at the 13-minute mark. But to Squirtle's advantage, he does have really nice upgrades going down, as well as Psystorm now starting to come down as well. A couple of good engagements by him will actually turn this game around.
Yeah, he's going to need that, honestly. He needs great engagements because right now, economically, let's take a look. 70 workers to 50
on
Sham 2.
Terran versus Protoss.
Yeah.
Terran should never have such a large number because that's also mules.
So, I mean, Squirtle is just not... This is excellent for MMA. We'll see if Squirtle can manage to swing things back in his favor a little bit. But right now, MMA is actually heading over to the 3rd. Oh my god, if he forces the cancel on this... He's going to force the cancel.
Now it looks like Squirtle is going to try and move his forces. So actually, where did Squirtle's forces just... are they still hanging out?
They're in
in the main base where there's another drop going down. There's a bunch of Storm's going down on those forces, but that was really more just a diversion to completely take out that third base.
Now let's point out that, you know, I wanted to say the mineral line's empty, but actually Squirtle just ran his probes away. So a grand total of only 5 workers killed there.
And exactly, you know, just pulling back those forces just a couple seconds before, he goes in, takes out a little bit in the main, and that forces Squirtle to overreact, pull all of his forces back to the main, and then MMA just runs in, takes out the third base. Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
Wow. 2 hit points left on that Nexus.
That's why I like having all hit point bars on. Oh my dear god, that Nexus was... that's absolutely ridiculous.
That is really close. MMA almost completely turned the game into a victory right there.
I mean, he really already has, Kevin.
Yeah, that's quite true. But
Squirtle is going to need MMA to make a very large mistake because he is just now restarting his third at 16 minutes. MMA, he's got a third, he's got a fourth, a natural, a main, lots of stuff. He's just looking awesome. What does he have in terms of upgrades, though? That is one thing that actually could just completely...
We have 2 2s on the Protoss army and 2 1s on the Terran army. So Protoss are very beautiful ballerinas.
Can we actually...
Not so much.
Yeah, MMA needs to attack here because if he isn't... Okay, he's now starting
out.
+3.
And when you max out as Terran, you need to make a movement against Protoss. You can't just keep a maxed out army because you will lose against Protoss unless you start cleaning out, you know, the useless units.
Well, especially in this scenario because +3/+3 is going to wrap up before MMA's. He'll still be on 2-1. So if MMA doesn't do some trades right now, Squirtle's actually going to max with a 3-3, 200-200 army, and he will destroy MMA's 2-1 and probably go on to win the game. So yeah, MMA needs to do an engagement here, get a little bit of damage in. Storm's going down on MMA's army, and he's killing off some of the units of Squirtle right now, guys. Zealot's chasing them away. Storm's going down, doing lots of damage to the Vikings and Medivacs, and overall does the damage necessary here. And I mean, MMA took a little bit more of a hit there. You take a look at resources lost, but at least he killed some stuff.
Exactly. He's now Squirtle's down 30 more food supply and another 2. Something just died somewhere. And that is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to stop Squirtle from getting to 100, from 200 to 200.
Yeah, you know, it's like I'm saying he's playing so smart. Like, guys, we have vision of everything right now, so we can tell you exactly what MMA needs to be doing. But from his perspective, it's a little bit tougher. He's got a lot going on, and of course, he doesn't have vision of everything. He's
got to go up a third base ramp, and that third base ramp is an incredibly scary base ramp to go up. I mean, this is Cloud Kingdom. But here goes, it looks like a large concave might happen here. No, MMA is going to pull back right now. And he's got to get just 1 money EMP down on those High Templar. But 3-3 just finishing up now. Now Squirtle's in the money zone. He's got such an incredibly strong army.
Yeah, and you know, he's got that 3-3, but because he lost so many units earlier, he's only sitting at 158 supply. He could be sitting at like 180, 190 right now, Sham 2. So, I mean, MMA, he's got a 40 supply advantage, and that may make the difference that he needs here with the upgrade deficit he's currently sitting on. And you know what? If we see Squirtle wait till 200-200, it will be too late. MMA's upgrades will have kicked in. So, I mean, just can't say it enough, guys. MMA played this exactly like he needed to really just like solidify his position of dominance.
The only thing I'm a little bit wary about right now is that MMA does not have that many ghosts in his army, so he really can't take out as many Psy Storms and too many Archons as really quickly as he needs to. Now the Marauders will be able to take up a lot of the damage, but for the most part, the large group of his forces are actually Marines. So this is going to be a little bit of a delicate balance right now as he has to start cleaning out some of that supply and making more and more room for those ghosts, if not pulling in those ghosts that just spawned right now. Now here comes a little bit of engagement right now. The Vikings start taking out some of those Colossus, but as the engagement starts off and the kiting begins, it looks like all those Vikings did get cleaned up, and there's still 4 Colossus out, as well as a huge amount of Psy Storms. MMA might actually lose this if he doesn't replenish this army very quickly.
Well, you know, he's still got 165 supply here, and he's working with more army just because his economy is so massive. But you are right. He's taken some serious blows there in his retreat path, and he hasn't touched the important units here. There's still 4 Colossi and 3 Archons on the field right now.
And High Templar.
Yeah.
That still probably have a lot of Storms.
They're actually pretty much awful.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of Psy Storms, a lot of Archons, and a lot of Colossus still. And as I said before, MMA is in a really kind of tough position right now. Now he does have a lot of ghosts that have been rallied to the natural.
He only has 6 Vikings. He's got 7 ghosts at least.
7 ghosts though.
He does. You're right. He needs these units.
And that's exactly the problem that he was running into before, is he did not clean out enough of the supply of the Marauders and Marines. Now here comes those Colossus now cleaning up the 4th base. And it looks like that fourth base is actually going to go down. It is now on fire. And being on fire, Kibbles, I don't know if you know this, not a good thing. Not a good thing. Unless, you know, you're a fire elemental or some sort of mythical creature.
Well, Squirtle must be that right now, guys, because he is tearing apart MMA's base. MMA's going to engage here. This is actually a position where we could see Squirtle with a beautiful concave storm's going to force these units back for the moment. And MMA, I mean, he took some serious economic blows here. Maybe focusing a little bit too much on the supply and the upgrade situation and not enough on his unit comp, which now is where it needs to be, but too little, too late. MMA took some serious blows to everything, actually. I mean, even his supplies down to 168.
Oh, but here comes a huge concave coming out here from MMA. Is he going to be able to make the engagement that he needs? The Ghosts are throwing down a whole bunch of EMPs. We have not seen any Side Storm switch yet, but the Archons are now starting to melt. All of the Colossus have gone down as well. Is MMA going to be able to turn this fight around? There's still a lot of Zealots out here, and they actually might get picked up by the concussive shells. There are still a couple of Archons, and the High Temple are also retreating. So now it looks like Squirtle did lose a lot in that engagement.
He really did, and he's still on 3 bases right now, so an incredibly back-and-forth game. And Shafter, you couldn't have said it more truly. It was the concave there for MMA. We saw Squirtle's units just string in, kind of like they're climbing on a Noah's Ark of Death right now, owned by MMA. And in this situation, MMA, you know, he's got this base down in the bottom right again. He didn't lose this base up top. He dropped, or actually, he now has an SCV.
He rallied one SCV over to save that fourth base.
Badass much? I mean, this is looking great for MMA again, just because his economy is in such a great spot. Yeah. He just needs to hold on and not lose this base.
Ooh, but here comes yet another large army. A lot of Archons in this army. It looks like he's going to have to force the lift here and take out a couple of SCVs. Are the Archons actually going to be able to focus down this command center? Yes, it goes down in a pile of flames. Yet again, seems to be a reoccurring theme here in MMA is going down in flames.
Well, MMA is going to get into the natural expansion here and potentially do some damage if he can kill off these Zealots as they're spawning. I don't know if he's got enough. The Medevac's definitely going to be able to support it, but no, it looks like Squirtle's going to have to come home to deal with this because with the kiting as well. Nice feedback, though, on one of those Medevacs there.
Tactical nuclear launch has been detected somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's got to be somewhere.
Let's just, I love cheating and take a look at the vision of MMA, and here it is.
Oh, yeah, at the third base.
Oh!
Nuketacular right there. All of the probes there. Can we go to the probe kill count?
What? Yes. 44 workers right now.
That was
They have been killed by Squirtle, but MMA just brought the count on his side to 35. Damn. All of a sudden, guys, we have a game where MMA, it's been crazy back and forth, Kevin, but now MMA, can Squirtle recover from that? He's down to 29 probes.
29 probes, and not only that, oh, please don't leave the game. We're up to
Where's the button?
Stop hitting the escape key. We are up to 150 to 112 in the food supply count, and MMA once again back in a really nice commanding lead. Now he has to make sure that he has the composition to deal with all of these Archons. It's a thing right now. Now the Vikings are being taken out here on the high ground. The Ghosts need to get the EMPs right now, Kibbles. That is what the Ghosts need to do. And
those storms, though, for Squirtle are massive and just devastated the army of MMA. And suddenly, Squirtle is taking a supply lead. This game is incredibly close.
This game is such a slugfest going back and forth. Both of the players are just hitting each other in the face, and none of them are actually doing anything to try and block it. Squirtle once again.
MMA, he went below the belt there, going with a nuke into the middle line.
That's a little bit of mixed martial arts. I don't know if you've heard. But yeah, this is an incredibly crazy game right now. Now Squirtle is in a little bit of a commanding position. He's got the map control that he needs. He's trying to get his third base back up and mining. It looks like, but a couple of Ghosts going in there and taking out the rest of the probes, doing that extra damage to light. Now, the fourth base is also up here for Squirtle, and so is the fourth base for MMA, but as long as Squirtle's force is that intimidating, MMA really can't do that much.
He's going to try to catch a couple of these Archons. Meanwhile, another nuke going down somewhere, and I think it's right here. No, there's not a Ghost. We need to find this.
Third base again. But it actually does get taken out.
No, it's at the natural expansion, and there's a good amount of probes here for Squirtle, which are going to go down again, and MMA is tearing things up here with some nuclear warfare.
This is absolutely brilliant. Now, this is what I was looking forward to at the beginning of this game, and this is only game 1, Kibbles, between these two players, these two titans in the losers round. Whoever loses here is knocked out of IPL 5 and does not have a chance to make any of the sweet money that IGN is offering.
Kevin, you're trying to make it sound like the other games are going to be this good, but could they? Could they possibly? I don't know. We're going to find out.
They could possibly be this good. But I have to say that right now, this is totally my favorite game that I've been casting so far. I just want more nukes.
That's crazy, man. Make sure you're tweeting about this, folks. Yeah. This is crazy. You mentioned the nukes, too. You really did.
I called it, man.
Very early. Storms going down for Squirtle, doing tons of damage to MMA's army, and he only has these 3 medevacs, and the one's completely out of energy. It can't even help. And, oh, man, MMA.
MMA is sitting in a very bad position. Still has the supply lead, though.
Yes, he does.
That's one thing you have to keep in consideration. And not only that, but he also has nukes.
We're 30 minutes in. It's 41 workers to 29, holding stable at that count.
Is this a silver game, or is this such a professional game that nobody's allowed to make probes or SCVs anymore?
I can't tell, Kevin. I actually can't tell.
Anyway.
Well, MMA is actually not making SCVs. Let's point that out. Squirtle is making probes.
He's probably just trying to fill up as much of his food supply with army as possible, because right now Squirtle still has an incredibly intimidating army. All of those Archons still moving around. He still doesn't have that many ghosts. Given how many Archons are out there, if he pumped out, at least 12 ghosts and just completely blanket nuked, this game would be over very quickly. But here comes the third base once again getting nuked, and there's no observer on the way.
He has had enough of that.
It's just, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm done.
Will the probe die?
Oh no, the single probe from the Vespine.
Where'd everybody go? I was just inside getting some gas. I came back and everybody was gone.
He just looks up. Oh.
That's why. Sudden moment of clarity before death. The light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh. But anyway, we do have these ghosts moving around. The High Templar are actually very forward. Oh no, they actually turned all into Archons. We still need a blanket of EMPs to really take out all of these Archon's shields, and then it'll be a very nice cleanup for Squirtle. But once again, not enough ghosts to really deal with. He still has a lot of Marines in his army, and the Colossus are still being pumped out here by Squirtle now. It looks like a little bit of an engagement. Turn around real quick.
Oh, nice snipe on the Observer, by the way.
Yes, that will help out a lot with those ghosts being able to cloak and then EMP.
Absolutely. Stalker going to blink forward, does get a ghost and a Marauder. Nice trade there for Squirtle. Every unit counts at this stage, folks. It really does. Yeah, by the army of Squirtle. So it looks like MMA, he's going to lift off this command center for now, which actually is just such a smart decision. This is definitely pro-level play, but yeah, MMA forces the full stim.
The full stim is going to be very hurtful to his forces. All the energy of the medevacs are going to be completely drained.
Yeah, that actually was like a really big deal. Then that Squirtle just forced that out of MMA. And, well, he can't go back and mine this base yet. He wants to.
He really wants to, but Squirtle, once again, keeping that very confident map control.
He cannot see the units, though.
Oh, looks like everything's going to go back to normal. Another nuclear.
Over here.
Oh.
Let's look at Squirtle, and he sees it.
He does see it. Yep. It's not that I actually want Squirtle to lose. It's just that I want to see a huge nuke go down.
Oh, this is going to be a big fight. Guardian Shields dropping. Archon's doing a lot of splash damage. Zealots eating up tons. No kiting coming out of MMA, and his supply is absolutely plummeting. And finally, the GG is going to go down for MMA. What an incredible game there, guys.
I can't fathom right now. Deal with this.
I mean, that was phenomenal, man.
That was one of probably the top games that are going to be from IPL 5.
Yeah, MMA, I mean, that early game expansion put him so far ahead. He did everything right except Vikings and Ghosts.
Unit composition is one of those incredibly key things when you're going against a Protoss army. You can see when you're going into the late game that you can't have any Marines in your army. It's only Marauders, Ghosts, Vikings, a couple of medevacs, if you have to stim. And that's just one of those things that you need to keep in mind when you're in such an economic advantage. Even though you may be at 200, those units may not be useful.
Yeah. You couldn't be more right, man. On the other hand, Squirtle, he had this fantastic unit composition with Templar, Archons, Colossus, Zealots, Stalker, Sentries. He really had everything that you possibly want in a good Protoss army, maybe barring a mothership, which even you got 3-3 on the ground.
Right.
Yeah, do I want a mothership, do I not?
I mean, I think that's just a little bit of icing on the cake, but the cake's already good enough. I don't think you even need the icing.
Squirtle eating up MMA there in Game 1, folks. We'll be moving into Game 2 shortly enough, and I'm actually going to find out what this map is, and we'll let you know in just a second.